I want to do a quick review on these Pro decks. Previously, I did a Rockville review on 12 inches, but now I got these 15s, which are updated, which ain't too much of an upgrade. But I do have larger units, M Audio, Pioneer, but these are for more people who just kind of want to do a small party. You don't really want to spend any money. You just want to you're kind of on a budget. You got $300 or under. I'm sure these are probably lower by now. I've had these for about 5 years. As you can see in the front here, I got a USB in there right now. I normally use the remote, but rarely. It doesn't really come into play too much, especially if you're using your phone anyway. There's your mic input gain. There's your line gain. This thing is kind of funny with the fact that it has the inputs in the front and in the... Whoa, don't want to break that. And in the rear, which... As you can see, I have actually, I'll show you what these are in a minute. I have an output and an input in the back. And then your jumper to the other speaker. As you can see right here, it's only one amplified. As far as I'm concerned, it's a mono unit, trying to pretend like it's stereo, but whatever. Right now I'm on pause on the USB. You have your radio and all other crap, and I can even show you all that. The sound quality... I thought I replaced these, but I'm not. My Rockville speakers, I actually replaced the speaker in them. They had the 12 inches, and it sounded way better. It was some no-name brand speakers I bought off eBay. Made them sound way better. On these, I've had them, like I said, for about 5 years. One thing that's happened is the tweeter blew out because I was trying to force more bass than they can allow. I emailed the company, and they actually sent me tweeters, which are just a little tiny little, disc that they send out, which they did for free, so I'm not going to complain. As you see, here's your controls your mode. Like I said, I don't really use the remote too much. Using an IR, you can actually use a phone remote if you want, but since you'll be playing off your phone, it really doesn't make a difference. Folder seek, I never really got into going in through folders. It just seems a little too complicated. And then there's your mic, of course. I really didn't get that. But as far as the amount of distance, I could actually go all the way outside and still get a connection. It's a pretty good connection as far as the Bluetooth goes. Now, I want to show you as far as this cable that's leading to this thing here. Now, here's just amplified sub I got from some thrift store for about $25. Sticker's still on there. Perfectly clean. Nothing wrong with it. When it comes to having these speakers, you get the stands and all this other crap, but you get the bass, but you just don't get that bass, that bottom end bass that you would get from most speakers like this. And like I said, these are very thin, fragile. Another thing I'd like to let you know that with my Rockville, with dust, this plastic is a very cheap plastic, so just dropping it a little bit harder than you should, with the dust actually accumulating on here, it'll actually weaken this plastic. It's a very weak plastic. So keep that in mind when you're moving them around. Transporting, I usually put like a big cloth bag over them, so I don't scratch them up. I really hate scratching them up, but I've already scratched them up enough. So it's going to be hard to tell you how they sound, but I'm going to do the best as I can. I'm not going to go too loud so you can get kind of a general idea. I'm going to put a little house in here. And I almost forgot where the house button is. Okay.
Look into your heart. Don't hold yourself. Girl, you're such a winner. I'm telling you, straight from my heart. Ooh. Look into your heart. Don't hold yourself. Look into your heart. Don't hold yourself.
These things sound really good for what the quality they are. I guarantee you, if you want to really invest and replace the speakers, you really don't have to. I mean, they sound decent. Tweeter sounds decent, but for a little bit more mids, you probably could replace the woofer. But you got to make sure that the wattage matches, because then the amp would get hot. But you know what? On my Rockville, I did replace them with some Pioneers, and the amp actually didn't get as hot. So what I recommend you do with this, I don't have one with me right now. What I don't like about this one is not having the USB access to the back, because with the Rockville, you could plug a USB fan, plug it in there, and then pretty much that's when I'm DJing. So I really wouldn't have to use the USB. It being on the front, I mean, if you want to find a really big long one and just mount it and just kind of bring it to the back, or make whatever you want to do. I recommend putting a fan on it. This came in the factory like this, but they deduct some money off. So yeah, I've had these for about 5 years. I've had no cutouts with them at all. They have not cut out me one time, and I've really, really driven the hell. What is going on with this focus? Come on, pay attention. Stupid phone. All right, anyway. So, so I just thought I would do a quick review. The only issue I've had within the 5 years is the button would actually get stuck. I'm sorry, not this unit. On the Rockville, the button would get stuck. This one, I've had no problems with these buttons at all. I said it hasn't cut out on me. However, there's some USBs that it won't read. I had some cheap ones that I tried to put in there, and they wouldn't read. I think it was some scan discs. This is a scan disc. This seems to work, but there were some other ones for some reason that would not work. As far as this folder thing, I've always wanted to just see what the concept of using that folder is. You can see there's a little bit of delay and response as far as hitting the buttons, but the processor in it isn't the best, so it's to be expected. But as far as that goes, okay, there's folder. It's a little bit more complicated using that versus using the remote, which, like I said, I don't really use the remote. But like I said, as far as that, I've had zero problems. As you know, it is a mono unit, and it does somehow split your input to make it sound like a stereo, which actually is not. But I mean, for the price, it's worth it. Just like I said, I just wanted to show you this real quick. I'm out of here. Thanks for looking.